Hi, and welcome to a revision of MEDC population pyramids with Mr. Mercer. Now, in this clip, we're going to deal with a typical exam question, which would be to describe and explain this population pyramid. Now, this is a simplified cartoon of MEDC's population pyramid, and I'm going to point out the basic features to you and some of the valid explanations. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that we see is that there is a low birth rate. That's a valid description. The next thing that we see is that there is a large economically active population. Now that, it's acceptable to suggest, is the population aged between 16, the age at which you can enter the workforce, and about 60 to 65, the age at which people retire from the workforce. Next, we have large numbers of females. Now, this may be available to talk about. It is not evident on all graphs. The larger number of females will be a subtle feature of your graph, and you have to look carefully. Is there a greater weighting on the female side of the graph? It may be more evident in the elderly section of the population, and we can talk about why in a moment. As I said, I should stress, the larger number of females may be present on your graph, but it may not. There is a low death rate, as you can see, and there is an aging population. It's easy to tell an aging population because the top of the graph is kind of wider and fatter, indicating a larger number of people in those age groups compared to a smaller number of people down at the bottom of the graph. Okay, so now, how do we explain these things? Well, given that this question is, let's say, 8 or 9 marks, we've already scored 1, 2, 3, let's say 4-ish marks for some sound descriptions. Quoting data from the scale at the bottom would, of course, help you in getting those marks. Explanations now. Well, there's a low birth rate in countries such as Britain because we have easy access to contraception. We regularly practice family planning. Women often choose to have careers in Britain and therefore delay having children until later in their lives, reducing the fertility rate. And children are in themselves an economic burden. They're very expensive, and therefore some families choose not to have children at all. Moving on, the low death rate. The low death rate is due to excellent sanitation, freely available and excellent healthcare. An important case study would be the NHS, which is free, and therefore, of course, that means that everyone in the country has access to good healthcare. We have excellent nutrition and low rates of disease due to vaccinations. Here I've provided you with at least 4 reasons for low birth rates and 4 reasons for low death rates. Between those 8 reasons and your 4 observations based on the descriptions, you've scored a great deal of marks. Some subtler points to mention. The large number of females. Now, if this is evident on your graph, if it is, then you could suggest that it is because in the elderly population, maybe the oldest generations of people have less males than females because that generation of males was involved in a conflict such as the Second World War, where, of course, there were greater deaths amongst the males. You could also suggest, though opinions differ, that in the older generations, the males who are in those generations would have done more physical work and perhaps had less safe working conditions than we're used to today when they were in the economically active population. As a result, their lifespans were foreshortened. Again, that's only if the larger number of females is evident. Some other things you might see would be kinks or bulges in your population pyramid. Now, I'll show you an example of a bulge. There it is. If you missed that, here it is again. What this shows us, this bulge, what this shows us, because it's in the economically active population, this is likely to be due to migration. Males have entered the country and therefore caused a bulge to appear in the economically active side of the pyramid. If you're looking at a pyramid that has a kink in its economically active population, that would be due to emigration, people leaving the country, and again is stereotypically in the male side of the pyramid. Those are some more refined points though. This video equips you with the absolute basics that you need to understand population pyramids, so make sure that you do understand all of the points I've made here, because they'll stand you in good stead. If you've got any questions, come and find me in class, and I hope that was helpful.